Hello everyone, welcome to this new presentation. As you know, my name is Nayeli Mercado and in this video I am going to explain you about two important sounds that are the diphthongs and triphthongs in English language. So to begin, let me share my screen please. An important lesson to recover and also to learn how the English sounds are. Well, to begin this presentation, we have to know what are the diphthongs. Okay, the diphthongs are sounds that can be classified following the articulatorily and auditorily complex. Okay, so the articulatorily point of view tell us that the diphthongs can be classified according to the distance of the tongue. The diphthongs can be wide when the glide is long, and the diphthongs could be narrow when the glide is short. Also, an important aspect is the direction of the movement of the tongue. Yes, it can be classified as closing and centering diphthongs. The closing diphthongs involve a glide towards a closer tongue position, and the centric diphthongs involve a glide towards a central position. Okay? Also, in the next slide, we have the diphthongs classified from the auditory point of view. The diphthongs can be classified as falling and raising diphthongs. In the case of English language, all the diphthongs are generally falling, so in this case, some of them are closing. Okay? Well, in order to understand better this concept, I am going to show you these two diagrams of the English diphthong sounds. So, in the case of the first diagram that we can see here, the shapes that are here indicate the lip position of a starting element. So, in this case, this diagram shows all the closing diphthongs. In case of the second diagram, we can see all the centering diphthongs. And also this letter F show us the usual finishing area of the final position. So in the case of the centric diphthongs, we have the ear, details about the English diphthongs, and also the characteristics that they have. Okay, as I said, the vowels can be classified by the quantity. In the case of the quantity variation of the English diphthongs, we have the following diphthongs that are mainly affected in their first element. And also we have to say that the diphthongs, the rising diphthongs, have examples like the sound I and U, like brilliant, and length of the diphthongs, they are long and also relatively long. To continue, I am going to show you the list of the 8 diphthongs with their respective notation in articulatory labels and the allophone transcription that they have. Okay, so here we have the 8 diphthongs, and in order to understand better, I am going to show you my examples. Also in an allophonic transcription, that we know that we have to write this allophonic transcription between square brackets and also using the diacritics that can show if the diphthongs in this case are fully long or reduced. Okay, so in the case of the first example that I have the diphthong that sounds like A. Okay, so this is narrow, front, and front closing. Okay, and we can see the following examples. In the case of the fully long, the word pay, and also age. And for the reduced case that we use only one diacritic that is like relatively long, we have the following examples like paint and also rain. Okay. For the second example, I have the sound diphthong L. So this is narrow and back closing too. In the case of the fully long, we have the examples of Lil and also gold. We use two diacritics like two dots in order to say that this is a fully long diphthong, okay? And in the case of the reduced, we have the words goat and also we have golden, okay? The third example is the sound I, that is a diphthong, wide and front closing, okay? In the case of the examples of the fully long, we have eyes and also we have the word kind, okay? In the case of the reduced, we have the advice and the other either, okay? To continue, we have the following example of the diphthong L, that it is wide and back closing. In the case of the fully long, we can see the following example that is val and also town. In the case of the reduced examples, we have count and also power. Power. Okay. For the following example of the diphthong oi, we have that this diphthong is wide and front closing. For the fully long case, we have the toy and toil. And also the reduced case is voice and toilet. Okay, we are going to see the three last ones. So we have the sound diphthong that is ear. So this is centering. In this case, the fully long examples could be clear and also missing. And the reduced case could be ears and also the case of era. Okay, so also we have the another example of ear that is a centering diphthong. And also in the case of the fully long, we have rear and also theirs. And for the reduced case, we have scarce and also very. Okay, and finally for the last one diphthong that is centering, we have the fully long example that is pure, year, and the reduced case, during. Okay, so I wish you understand these examples in an allophonic transcription and also using the diacritics that shows a fully long, in this case that the diphthong is more longer than the reduced form. Well, in this case, we are going to change to the English triphthong, okay? A triphthong is when a third vocalic element called schwa is added to all the diphthongs except to the centric ones that are three, as we said, as we saw, okay? So we have five diphthongs that can work with the schwa in order to be a triphthong in the case of these following examples. I also do an allophonic transcription in order to show these words. In the case of the first triphthong, that is air, okay, I have the word hair, okay. The second one, the triphthong is So we have the word lower. Okay. And the third position, we have the triphthong that is I. So we can say the word warrior, warrior. Okay. Then we have the fourth that is hour. So the example is sour. And finally, we have the OE sound that could be in the case of the word employer. Okay, so these are the triphthongs in English language and also the diphthongs that we saw. I wish you understand and you enjoyed this session.